Hi, Black Petersburg. Thank you for watching today. I am here virtually with Miss Hallie Powell, the esteemed and awarded retired English teacher of 29 plus years. Many of you all know her from the classroom or the community. So we are here today to honor her and her legacy of educating and raising us and teaching us how to be critical thinkers and to know how to read and communicate. So please, for those that don't know you, that may not ever get a chance to meet you, can you share with them who you are and what was special about the work that you did as a teacher at Petersburg Public High School?
My name is Hallie Powers. I'm a retired reading and English teacher, and I worked in three different school divisions, but I ended my career in Petersburg at Petersburg High School. And fortunately, I was able to stay at Petersburg the entire rest of my career. When I left Halifax County Public Schools and I left Chesterfield County Public Schools, and I stayed in Petersburg for 29 consecutive years.
Mm.
And I would say my special memory or special thing that I think I accomplished at Petersburg High School was that I didn't let the students, uh, you know, act like they were not capable.
Mm.
I made sure that you all are smart and you're going to prove it. You're not slipping and sliding, floating and gliding. You're going to get it done. And you're going to realize that you can actually do it. You can achieve what you put your mind into achieving.
So how did you end up in Petersburg?
I did my undergraduate study in Baltimore, Maryland at Morgan State University, but then I was hired as a reading teacher and I had no credentials for that. So what I did was I decided to get my credentials at Virginia State University. So once I got to Virginia State University, the advisor said, "Now you're going to do a program." So she didn't let up. So I actually earned a master's degree in reading, developmental remedial reading. Um, which I earned in 1982. And I taught reading for 20 years, I believe, of my 38 years. But then when I came to Petersburg High School, I taught reading maybe about 5 years. And then the rest of the year, they didn't keep the reading program. So I finally got into the English profession. So by way of Virginia State University, I ended up in Petersburg and I actually stayed in this area after I left the other two school divisions.
Wow. So from what year did you finish at Virginia State? Do you recall?
All right, I finished the summer of 1982.
Okay. And then
And
when did you start at the high school?
I in '83 I married, and then I moved to Petersburg for good.
Mm.
And when I was first hired to do the reading lab at Virginia State University, that lasted a year. Then I was in Chesterfield Public Schools for 2 years. And then 86, 87, that's when I was hired to work at Petersburg High School in their reading program.
Okay. So if you could tell our viewers just a little bit more about you on the personal side. So did you meet your husband from Petersburg? What's the story there? And how did you feel about being like were you from Maryland? Were you from Northern Virginia?
I'm a
Where
Virginian, but the idea in my family was that everybody would go out of state for college.
hmm
So I'm from a small area called Nathalie, Virginia,
hmm
but my mom went to college in North Carolina. And I was headed to North Carolina, but they were a bit expensive in the 70s.
hmm
So I found out if I went north, I could get a little bit of a better rate,
hmm
from a college education. So after I left Maryland, I went back home for a little while to Halifax County, uh, and worked in their school system for 7 years, the Halifax County Public Schools for 7 years. And then when I went to graduate school in the late 70s, early 80s, I met my husband there.
Okay.
He was I think it was ROTC at the time,
Oh,
maybe
nice.
featuring ROTC. And then, after I finished my degree, he and I were married,
Mhm.
and three children came pretty quickly, 85, 86, and then 89.
Wow.
And so I said, well, I know I need a job now. So when Petersburg was looking for reading teachers, I said, let me get my application in here right now. And so they hired me right away. And as I said, the reading program had been a new model. So
Mhm.
because I had some experience already teaching reading for at least 7 years, uh, I was hired immediately. I mean, the minute I stepped in, they said, "We want you."
Mm.
And so and the reading program was brand new, and I was just so glad they had a reading coordinator. So she was very invaluable so far as helping us set up how we were going to do our lessons. You know, she knew we had to do diagnostic testing, and then for each student, individualized instruction. And then if they didn't get at least an 80% or better on the assignments given, we had to go back and reteach and retest.
Mm.
It was complicated, but it was rewarding. You know,
So what was your best, or what is your fondest memory from that time? I mean, that's a lot of time. That's a lifetime. So, your dedicated service from, essentially the beginning of their reading program
right.
and to present day, you gave Petersburg public school system 38 years combined of your life.
Mhm.
What's your fondest memory? What stands out to you across?
I feel like I was always a person who was very approachable, and I had several uh, co-workers who were the same way. So the
Mhm.
idea that we showed collaboration and teaming, and I would send a student to another teacher's room if I needed to, for that teacher to say, "I know you can do this. Miss Howard sent you here for you to finish your work." So we had a collaboration going. So I
Mhm.
just like the idea of the teamwork.
Mm.
The students they said, "Well, I better get this done because she's gonna have this other teacher working with me too." So we double teamed.
Oh, I like
We
that.
did a lot of double teaming.
I like that.
They say it takes a village, and and it works. It's the same thing for the teacher. The teacher needs that partner, that confidant that we
Mhm.
can rely on to
Nice.
help
So
us push things through.
that double teaming held the students
Right,
accountable because,
definitely.
they knew that even if they weren't in your class,
Mhm.
another teacher knew that they had work to do, and
Yeah,
you had that support.
right.
Um,
And we did home visits. In
oh,
fact, the principal said, "You all about to go to some of these homes." I said, "What is he talking about?" But that worked. And
mhm.
I never told the student that I was coming, and I never told the students that I had gone. They would say, "Man, she came to my house." So they told on themselves. So
But that's
it,
beautiful.
it
I
was a
mean,
good
wow.
thing.
Do
It
you
was
know
really,
if that's still admitted today? Are teachers allowed to do
I
home
would
visits?
think so because no one principal or set of principals can police everything. So I know I was singled out one time. Principal said, "This lady goes to people's houses." I
Mhm.
don't know whether my coworkers like that or not, but I was trying to do everything I could because I had an SOL level.
Mhm.
SOL stands for Standards of Learning. I
Mhm.
taught 11th grade English eventually.
Mhm.
And those students, if they didn't pass my English SOL, which there were two of them, they wouldn't graduate.